Hello. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Minecraft with me, Lucy. Hi! How's everyone doing today? I am absolutely delighted, honestly. It feels great to be here today because we've made it to episode 25 and it's pretty much our 6-month anniversary on this world. It feels insane. Half a year already. Thanks so much for all the support, you guys. And to celebrate this fairly big milestone, to be honest, we're going to do a world tour to recap and appreciate everything we've done together so far. So let's start off right here. If you're new, welcome. This is my world, and this is what's called the spawn square. This is my spawn square. This is where we started our world, but it was just a snowy plains at that point. And we've done a decent bit of decorating actually, and underneath this there's actually a light system that I might show off at the end of the episode. Let's have a look. Let's go right into our main base here, but first we have to walk through what I call the agricultural area. This is where all our farms are. This is my melon farm, my bamboo farm, there's a cactus farm over there, cocoa bean farm, whoops, sugarcane farm, and that is my horse stop. I'll tell you all about these in a little bit. And of course, my greenhouse. And we'll have a better look at the greenhouse in just a bit. But let's go to the very first build we did in this world. Episode 1. This is the icy spruce cabin. It's so nostalgic to me at this point now. I remember exactly how it felt to build this. I was so nervous uploading my first ever video. And it really hasn't changed. I wanted to keep the core identity of it, although I still have some birthday cake here. And yeah, this is the ice spruce cabin. At that time, the only blocks we had was, well, spruce and stone, and a bit of naturally generated pumpkins, which this is, by the way, the original pumpkin patch we used. And later on, I've upgraded to lanterns instead of torches. Oh, whoops. Let's see. And I think our build 2, I'm gonna try to go in chronological order as far as I remember. Our build 2 was this barn from Farms and Barns episode. Before we had the agricultural area, this is where I put all my farms. We had a little baby wheat farm in here. It wasn't very good. Oh, a pumpkin. And of course we have our animals in here. At some point these two will be migrated onto their own new homes. But for now, this is where my cows and sheep live. I don't need chickens, although I think I have a few in here. I have a few in there. And this is a new project. This was our sugarcane farm before. Now we have an automatic one. They have a little plant growing district, a little plant growing area. Stuff that can't be easily automated now lives here. That's cute. And to go back a little bit, we do have a great view of it here. Episode 3 was our lighthouse. That's the word, our lighthouse and enchanting system. It only took me 3 episodes to get enchanted, which isn't too bad. And yeah, this was the biggest build I think to date at that point. Bigger than the barn. It took longer for sure. And I'm pretty proud of how it looks. Again, didn't have many blocks at that point, but we did upgrade to deep slate, so we only had spruce and deep slate for the inside. And I think it looks pretty good. I mean, the lighthouse stripes to make out of one type of wood. Yeah, that's pretty good, and it really fits the theme. This is my little enchanting setup, and we have a map of the area here. Let me show you guys. Oops. Let me show you guys where we live. We live on this little island here that faces out into massive glaciers. And I have some woods and forest, and this is my nearest village, so it's not too far at all. I worked really hard on finishing these maps in time for the episode, and I gotta say, traversing this bit of terrain with a map, not easy. No, I don't have any elytra. We're not rushing this series at all. It's very slow paced. This is episode 4. And now you might think, hey, build a little tiny hut for episode 4. What's that? Well, actually, you need certain something. Ah, don't fight me. You need something for enchanting, and that is levels. So ignore the terrible jump down here. This is my zombie farm. You found a spawner right here. And this is my very slow farm of one zombie spawner to get myself enchanted. But it works. It works. So there you go. And moving on to our next build, the fifth one in this world. After we got all our gear enchanted, we started running out of space in the icy spruce cabin. So this was a fairly large build here as well. This is my storehouse. Let's have a look. I'm not the most organized person. I really am not, but I did my best here with the storehouse, and it's actually relatively neat. I've got all my wood types here. The signs I think are fairly straightforward. I'm not going to show you the insides of the chest. I don't keep things squared, it seems squared. Upright. Let's fix these. There we go. Much better. Yep, this is all my stone, all my ores, and some tools and weapons and stuff. This is my sort of natural produce, my farming stuff, my animal stuff. Yeah, nice. And miscellaneous, of course. And also this is decoration, so more buildings sort of block things that don't fit anywhere else, like copper or sandstone, quartz, stuff like that, glass. But yeah, this is a very simple storehouse, and to be honest guys, I'm already starting to run out of space in it. So we're gonna need to upgrade at some point. Something a bit more fancy than this. So then once we had our storehouse, the next thing we need to do is obviously to fill it up with a lot of items, guys. And something I really enjoy in the game is building farms. That's why I have a whole farm area. And turns out for a lot of farms you need observers, which need quartz. So this was our build for episode 6. And I'm actually so proud of this nether portal. It is stunning, to be honest, if I say so myself. And this, of course, was my Christmas tree during Christmas. But let's go into the nether, and I'll show you my very not impressive nether base. Welcome to my nether. It's pink on the inside, but it's it's not very fancy in here. We're missing a block for some reason. Yeah, this is a work in progress, guys. A work in progress, so you're gonna have to check back in a little while to see if I make any progress on this. But this just goes to a village where I do my trading. So once we had access to the nether, we built a pumpkin farm over there, but you guys have already seen it. It's a very simple, straightforward design. And the next project I had was actually the moss farm because I needed bone meal. I still do. So let's show off our moss farm. The greenhouse, which shells it, came a little bit later. But let's have a look at this build because it's one that I'm really proud of. And something I very consciously decided when I was working on this base was try to limit the amount of azalea and other types of leaves I was using because we are in a cold biome. You know, the grass color is kind of this tealy, sprucey looking one. So there's only a few areas that I actually have this sort of almost unnaturally look green in this cold weather grass, and one of them is in my garden here. Then the horse stops, and of course the greenhouse, which I think gives us such a unique vibe. These are colder looking leaves on the outside, but then the glass windows and the actual greenhouse part looks very lush and inviting. And yeah, this is a bunch of bone meal farms, so we've also set up to work with the greenhouse. So these are very straightforward. This is what we use the observers for. And there, yeah. In fact, I can press this button. I get seed. Boop. They're all like that. Micro farms or mini farms, I'm not sure what they're called. And of course, just very simple bone meal flour farms because I don't know if you've noticed already, I really like flowers in this game. They're everywhere as much as I can. But let's have a look at the actual moss farm. So there's a little bit through here, and this sort of leads into the inner workings of the farm. I don't know how interested people are in the redstone, so I'm not gonna bother you guys with it too much. but this is basically a stream of, well, bone meal that gets sent up upwards towards the moss farm to replenish itself, and it comes from the, well, the composters. That's how you get bone meal. Let's have a look at the farm itself, and I'm sure you guys will have seen this many times, especially if you've ever built one. The very standard stone setup here, crammed into this really tiny space for the greenhouse. And yeah, it works absolutely wonders, but it wasn't enough, guys. It wasn't enough. So we built a second moss farm. I know. Look at this. This is the top of my greenhouse. Again, I absolutely love this build. I love the roof. I love my little cherry trees. And they're actually sort of custom-ish because we had bigger trees and they caught on fire and burnt down. They caught on fire and burnt down from this lava here from the second moss farm. So yeah, we've got 2 of them. This one actually just sends the stuff straight down to the first one. That bit of there, I can't show you very well. But that basically goes down to the first moss farm. And we have some bees, and of course my parrot pal here that I've still not named. I'm sorry for not naming you. I can't think of a good name for my parrot pal. But he lives here in the greenhouse. One day he'll have a friend, but for now it's just the birds and the bees. And in the time it took us to build the moss farm and the greenhouse that shells it, we also ran into some issues with not having enough furnaces. Now, at that time, I was living from the icy spruce cabin, and 4 furnaces was not quite enough for everything I needed, and mostly it was all that glass, to be honest, guys. So we have actually another build that I'm really, really proud of. I'm gonna say this a lot in the series to celebrate my accomplishments. But yeah, look at this. How cute is this little detail? Little front furnaces here. And yeah, if you can hear some redstone, that's because this thing is really smart. Now, one thing I try to do is to not look up tutorials at all. So the moss farm is not the perfect, but I built it all from scratch. And so did I. I built this thing from scratch as well, is what I'm trying to say. And it might not look like much, but you can see we've got hoppers everywhere. We've got items in here, and you'll find every single furnace has got a lava bucket in here, which is really fun because I was having some fuel issues. So it's my lava farm. And the way this works is I can just automatically refill all the lava that I use up. So a better way to show you guys exactly what's happening here would probably be to actually smelt some stuff. So if you go into here, what you'll see is this full lava bucket is going to get used up as fuel, and it's going to be immediately replaced by a fresh one. Yeah, see? And the empty lava bucket here is collected by a pickup system. So there is a minecart track running just, I think, behind the furnaces. Yeah, just behind the furnaces. There's a hopper that leads into the back of the furnace, and there's a minecart track that runs on that hopper, and it replaces the lava really smartly. And there is a minecart cart right here at the bottom under the barrels with a hopper minecart which collects all the buckets. Now this, guys, this was a very difficult project. Again, I'm really proud of it because no guides. No, well, I looked up how to build an item sorter. I did look up how to build an item sorter, so let's have a look in here. Oh, a lot of things are happening here, and I don't know if I know redstone well enough to explain it properly. But basically what happens is there is an item sorter right here. It does some redstone magic and it checks it picks up the one bucket specifically from the minecart. That's why it does it. It picks up all the buckets the minecart has. Normally it's just 1 or 2 depending on how much I'm smelting. And it leaves the filters here. It leaves them in place. I can't pick it up, but there's some pumpkins in there. It leaves the filters in place so we don't accidentally grab any of the stuff we're smelting. Like all these ingots. Just the buckets. And then we need to send it out again with the bucket in the free slot. And those buckets that it picks up from the item store get redelivered here into this dropper, which spits out a bucket as soon as a minecart travels over this activated rail. Then those empty buckets get sent back up to the top of the lava farm for me to use them to fill them back up. So this is a really, really fun trick because I didn't have any other way of smelting a lot of stuff at the same time. Haha, so not going in chronological order anymore, just while we're here at the basement of the smeltery. This is again a very new project. This is my basalt farm and it's, well, it's fairly straightforward. If I were to mine a few of these blocks, it gets picked up by these hoppers where it can and delivered into this barrel here. Then, to replace the blocks of mined, yeah, fills it up. It takes a little while. It's not a very fast system, but yeah, it's a fairly straightforward basalt farm. We're just gonna leave that to run. And this is my pet dog, Judith. Another build that took me a very long time in this world. It was split into 2 episodes, just like the greenhouse was, so you can tell from the scale. It took me a little while to finish. It is the mine. We had this whole garden outside the mine, and the mine itself. At first, when we started the world, this was just, well, one block kind of way down for me to strip mine for some diamonds and all the other good stuff. We go down here, we can enjoy the hallway. This took absolutely forever to build, guys, but I'm really proud of it. And also farming all these brown mushroom blocks and the packed map blocks, also a little bit hard. And this is a little trick I have where I don't want to press the button too often or replace the minecarts. If basically when these minecarts collide, it's gonna push you back, and that minecart just, it fixes itself. I don't need to carry it with me. It's great. So yeah, this is my strip mine. It's not ideal. And turns out, I've just realised, I've not been down here in ages, I've just realised I never trimmed any of these glowberries. Okay, it's a bit overgrown here. But yeah, look at this build. And one thing that I'm super chuffed with here is actually meshing the spruce and dark oak here to the deep slate and the bedrock using these muddy roots. I never realized how well these kind of blend the blocks together. Really proud of that. And I think one view that really sticks out here from the mines are the amount of campfires that I use for smoke here in my world. I love it, it's so cozy. But there's one that might kind of stand out to people. And let's have a look at this one specifically because this was the first one I've built. This is what I call a horse stop. So we went and acquired ourselves some horses here because, you know, traveling all these distances was taking quite a while for me. I invested in some horse stock and I kept losing them. I'm sure people have had this issue before. Dismount a horse and after 30 seconds it just wanders off somewhere. So let me show you guys first off. As you can see, the smoke signal is currently going off, and what this actually does is it tells me that there's a horse in this horse stop, so I know I've left one here. If I were to write this one out, leave it here, you'll see that the smoke slowly but surely cuts off. So no smoke means I don't have any horses here. So this is actually really handy when I'm working on projects. I can have a quick look and be like, right, my nearest horse is probably in that horse stop that's smoking there. Or maybe that one that is smoking over there. And I love using campfires as sort of like a signifier because I am too broke for beacons. I am too broke for beacons. But really, while we are on the topic of horses, I think this would be a good time to give you guys a little horse tour of the base, and you can see the paths from a different angle here. And yeah, oh, this, I forgot to mention this. This is my hot springs. Yeah, these were built on an episode of kind of off-camera work for me. Oh, Ignore that coral. That was for me farming sea pickles. Well, it's quite embarrassing that. Yeah, little horse, little hot springs there. And this is back to our farming area, and you'll see that not only the path leads to Spawn Square there, but there's there's actually another path down here to this beautiful green build. It's now green because we've left the snowy hills. This is my stables, guys, and let me show you guys the front view because I think it looks amazing. Ta-da, look at this place. Wow, another build I love with all my heart. This thing's so green. Yeah, we got a bamboo farm, and let's just say I quite like the bamboo blocks that were used everywhere. Let's park this horse now. The stables unfortunately don't have a smoke signal set up because, well, the stables is where the horses live. Are you having a good time there? Yeah. Quiet down a whoa. Gonna quiet down a little bit. Thank you. And we have some llamas here, which also love jumping. Something about the stables here. You know, they just really love it here. We've never had any suspicious deaths in the stables. Never. And yeah, look at this view. How cute is that with the little horse peeking through? How cute is that? And I think at this point we have covered all of the big builds here in the Swan Square. This might not seem like a lot of progress for 6 months, but I really focus on just enjoying and pacing myself. And yeah, we didn't have an elytra. Yeah, we've never fought a wither, and we don't have any farm, like any mob farms except for a zombie spawner one. But I think scarcity and sort of lack of resources does in fact breed creativity. Maybe restrictions a better word than lack of resources, but there's definitely builds out here that I would not have been able to build with you know, the way that they look so unique, especially the lighthouse. I'm still really proud of that. I think if I had, you know, if I was in creative mode or I had all the materials I wanted, you know, we'd probably gone for a more stereotypical white and red one, but this has just such a unique vibe to it. And yeah, speaking of the lighthouse, there's one more tower we've not spoke about. This is my latest build, the Alchemy Tower. And this is where we really get our hands dirty with getting a lot of different resources. This one took a while, and it's kind of like a culmination of everything I've been working towards. I know, look at the amount of quartz I've used. There's, oh, this is very noisy. Let's leave the cows alone for a second. There's mud bricks, there's sandstone. There's no deserts around me, by the way, guys. So, yeah, it took a long time of searching for a desert to be able to get all these resources and setting up the bone blocks. But let's have a look. I don't know what to say about this build. It's got a very unique vibe. So the Alchemy Tower, guys, is actually the very first build in what's going to be my castle town. So on top of this big hill here, we're actually going to build a big castle. But I'm not going to outright just build a big castle. No. I'm going to build a lot smaller sort of standalone rooms and buildings and join them all together to make a bigger castle later on. And this is the very first one. The very first one. And the lore, the sort of thinking behind this alchemy tower, well, it's where the royal alchemist does their alchemy, which is me. I'm the royal alchemist. I'm also the royals itself. I am the queen of this land. But this place offers a really good view, and I've just realized those maps I put down there are actually very distracting. But if we just ignore that and appreciate the view of what I call the snowy village, because I am horrendous with names. glad that we had a nice little quiet moment there. As you can see, most of the land around here is not developed, which gives us a lot of space to build a lot of really cool stuff. And this is my brewing room. I've only used this a few times. Can I close this, please? But yeah, this is where my brewing ingredients are stored, and yeah, brewing pots is very straightforward. This place is very straightforward. There is a secret though to the alchemy tower. There is a secret. You won't tell anyone, will you? Unless you want to bite and eat some rotten flesh. Yep, that's a good nod. Ooh, what's this? Definitely not suspicious pressure plate. Oh, what's this? Ooh, the alchemy tower has got a dark secret, guys. Wouldn't be a castle without any sort of dungeon looking places. And this is my totally kind of not spooky, kind of spooky netherwork farm. Yeah, it is just a netherwork farm, but I had a blast building this, trying to get it to look kind of. Oh, I never cleared out the chest. Trying to make it look a bit and a run down and a little bit spooky and give it that nice like ooh, ooh vibe. What am I even saying? And there is a hidden exit. Aha! Totally not suspicious at all. Waterfall coming out of nowhere. Totally not suspicious. I think we should go over and actually check out the totally not distracting maps I've put there. I didn't have any blank walls to put these maps on, so yeah, we've we've came up with a makeshift solution of putting it outside the sheep pen. But yeah, this is actually the maps of our base. So you can see the alchemy tower over here. That's it there. This is the barn and the path there. The storehouse. The mines. The icy spruce cabin right here in the middle. That is the zombie hut, that's the smeltery, and that's the lighthouse, and a nice little straight path to another portal. You get quite a good view actually of the hot springs here. The greenhouse is kind of blended in with the landscape because it's got so much snow in it. And yeah, this is the agricultural area with all its farms. And funnily enough, the spawn square kind of looks blue and red here because that's the color of the wool I put redstone on, and it looks like all the redstone lamps are not being rendered as well yellow or anything. And that leads up to our stables. So later on, we're going to have a path going around all the way, connecting this whole thing in a big circle. Loads of little buildings on the outskirts of the road, and on the inside there's going to be the big castle. That's the plan. So hopefully, even if you guys don't watch the series, you can tune in for that in maybe another 6 months. I don't know how long it's going to take me. And of course, I had to show you guys my light shirt, which definitely didn't take me an embarrassingly long amount of time to get all the redstone to go in a nice timely sequence. No. I've also got plans for the spawn square to fully improve the experience of spawning here after death, but that is a future project. And speaking of future projects, let's have a look. This is probably for the viewers that have been here for a little while. We can recap the list we made at our end of year wrap up. So, at the end of the year, when we were welcoming in 2024, we decided to make some New Year resolutions because, of course, we had to make some. And let's have a look and see what our plans are for the rest of the year that we set in January. A greenhouse, that's done. A smeltery, that's done. A villager area, a pier, an iron farm, another farm, castle, mob farm, no, ocean monument, no, ender dragon, no. So we got 2 out of however many this is. I'm not gonna try to do maths while I'm recording. I got 2 resolutions done in the first 4 months of the year. That's not too bad. That is not too bad at all, to be honest. I don't know if we'll get everything done, but it gives you guys something to look forward to. Although the castle is going to be the big build for the next little while. I think that's pretty much everything covered about my world that is of importance. We do have some other areas, like we have another boat tunnel to the desert and another boat tunnel to a lush cave. We have a little village, but none of these have really been done up, so I'm not going to waste your time on it. We should talk about more important things like me. This is my world, but what about me? Now, I had a few people send in some questions for a Q&A. It's not a lot, but thank you very much for those that did. And I just thought I'd take this opportunity to actually talk about them, to tell you guys more about myself if you guys are new here. And while I do that, while I do my favorite thing, which is talking about myself, please enjoy the beautiful view of my base from up here in the lighthouse. One of the questions I got was, what is my favorite fantasy slash RPG game? And that's quite a tough one because I don't actually know specifically what my favorite one would be. I've played a bunch. I have a lot different games I really like for different reasons. Like I really like Stardew Valley because it's really relaxing. I love the vibes, and I honestly feel like my base kinda is like Stardew Valley feeling. You know, that sort of more cottagecore aesthetic, but not fully committing to that kind of look. But I don't know if I would class it as either fantasy or RPG. So if we're trying to be a bit more strict with what we define it as, I would probably have to say it would have to be the Ni no Kuni series, the ones that have been animated by, well, produced in together with Studio Ghibli. Love, love, love Studio Ghibli games, and I think those love Studio Ghibli movies, and I think those games kind of capture the feeling and the aesthetic of the movies really well. I think the plots are great. I think the gameplay is fun. The music's fantastic. If I had to pick a favorite, I don't know which one out of the two I would pick. Nina Kuni 1 has got a very special place in my heart. It's kind of nostalgic. Nina Kuni 2 was a lot of fun and it made me tear up. So I don't know, I can't pick, but it's probably one of those games. Another question I got was, what would I do if I got monetized? Well, hopefully, if that's done when I get monetized, not it, not if. But the truth is, I'm not 100% sure. There is a big difference between getting monetized and getting enough money to live off YouTube, and I don't see that happening anytime soon. I do want to say thank you for those everyone that's subscribed. We're nearly at 300, and it makes my heart feels so full. But yeah, if when hopefully when I get monetized, I would probably just put the money into upgrading my computer. Just straightforward, just invest back into the channel. I'd love to be able to turn on the shaders, guys, here and record and show you guys what my base looks like with the shaders. Unfortunately, my computer can't handle it, and I have to record in 30 FPS as well. I can't really even play normal vanilla Minecraft. I have to play the fabulously optimized version of it so I can record without too much lag. So straightforwardly, yeah, I'd probably just upgrade my computer. It definitely needs a bit of that extra help. Another question I got was, what's my favorite terracotta color? And again, hard questions, guys. Hard questions. I would probably go for the white one. I really like the blue looking ones. I think they're not actually blue. I don't know what they're called. There's the ones that I've used in here. Let's have a look. That's like the purpley looking one, and no, they are blue. They are blue terracottas, right? They just look purple. I do like both of these, but I think the white one, which I have used down in the mob farm, let's go back down. I think that's probably my favorite one because it's got this really nice soft shade on it. This one here, it's a baby pink color that is less saturated than the cherry one, the cherry wood. So I would say this one is something the game really lacks, and it is really, really nice. And the last question I got, which is more of a general one, I suppose. I won't be able to answer every single one of these, sorry. But it asks, how long did it take to build each one of your builds? Short answer, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to that. If I had to guess, you know, the builds that were on the smaller side, like the Icy Spruce cabin, I probably got them done in like 2 hours maybe at most. The bigger builds like the greenhouse, and especially the ones that contain redstone. The redstone is what takes me the longest, guys. I would say I'm a fairly quick builder. The biggest problems I have with the speed of building is either how long it takes to gather the materials or how long it takes to do the redstone. And for example, in the Moss Farms case, it took me a very, very long time to do the redstone because I kept getting cobblestone generating when it should have been stone. And took me a long time, both in creative and survival, to adjust the timings and make sure that doesn't happen. But that was at the beginning of me sort of messing around with redstone. So I do have to say that these smaller farms, like the sugarcane farm, it probably took me about half an hour to set this thing up. It really wasn't long, especially since I had all the materials for it, and I knew. I mean, this is way simpler than a moss farm, but I kind of knew what I was going for without needing to experiment. But stuff like deciding where to put what blocks and color palettes, kinda I normally have an idea of what I want the build to look like before I even start building it, so it doesn't take that long. There is one exception though. The build that was the most difficult for me, and maybe that's just because it's fresh in my mind, was the alchemy tower up there. Now, I had messed around with color palettes in creative before starting this build and trying to figure out what materials I can get where in my world, and because a lot of these materials I didn't have enough of or they took a lot of time to grind, basically everything that the tower is made out of. This build took absolutely forever, and I also didn't plan it out very well. I don't tend to plan my builds unless I really need to, like the spawn square. Well, that has to be as perfect as you can get of a circle in Minecraft. In this one, I just kind of put down blocks, and you'll notice it's got like a really ovally shape to it. It's not a straight oval either. It's a bit squinted. It's a bit sideways. Getting the nice sort of curve in on this tower, I still don't think it's perfect, and there's a lot of work to refine the sort of spiral that goes around it as well. This build probably took me maybe 6 or so hours of building just the top, and then you have to add another several hours for the farm underneath. I'm trying to go down to the farm as if there is an entrance from this side. There's not. Yeah, this was another build I had a bit of a struggle with, a little bit of a struggle bus with it. So it took me a little while. I kept changing my mind about what I wanted the inside to look like. And that's probably the most time consuming part, is when you start putting down blocks and then you decide you have to rip them all out. So yeah, probably at least 2 hours to do the inside here as well. And we're not really counting the supply gathering time, because if I include all the time it took me to chop down mangrove trees and chop down mushroom blocks, will be way above that time scale. My horse is gone. Where's it gone? There you are. I need to build a horse stop next to the tower here. But yeah, guys, that is pretty much me all done here with my world. Well, with my world tour, not my world. My world's gonna keep going for a while. I want to have a long running series, and I'm gonna avoid restarting as much as I can. I've not had any terrible bad luck here that made me want to rage quit either, which definitely helps. So thank you all for watching very much. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you're new here, welcome. I hope you don't feel like you have to watch the previous only 5 episodes now. I hope this got you up to speed, and I hope to see you in episode 26. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a lovely day.